Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Hot Topics, the Don Lemon Show. We're so happy that you're here. Specifically, I want to welcome you to Hot Topics, and we're going to try to, from time to time, as we said, to move on from politics and not talk so much politics because I think people are kind of sick of it. People get sick of politics all the time. So we're going to move on. I'm going to talk about a real hot topic there, something that may be a little bit more controversial and a little bit more interesting to some folks. And a lot of people are talking about it, which is we have not spoken about, and that is stories like Jay-Z. Are you guys paying attention to the Jay-Z story? You should be. Some of you are going to remember that I mentioned earlier this week that Jay-Z was just slapped with an extremely serious lawsuit, one accusing him of SA alongside Diddy. This was, I believe, an amended lawsuit that amended the lawsuit and put Jay-Z's name in it. So now Jay-Z is pushing for the woman who is accusing him to be required to reveal her identity or for her lawsuit against him to be dismissed. We're going to dig into all of that. It is complicated. It's a bit complicated because, again, as I said, this is an amended lawsuit that features, that adds Jay-Z's name to it. Here's a report from our friends over at Good Morning America.
For Jay-Z, the music mogul moved to dismiss a new civil lawsuit accusing him and Sean Diddy Combs of assaulting a minor at a party in 2000. ABC News Live anchor Lindsay Davis here with the latest. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning to all of you. Good morning to you, George. The artist known for his song 99 Problems has one more this morning. In a new filing, Jay-Z's attorney says the rape allegations are part of a sprawling extortion saga, and they're asking the allegations either be dismissed altogether or the identity of the anonymous accuser be disclosed.
Overnight, Jay-Z stepping out for the first time since that civil lawsuit accusing him of raping a then 13-year-old girl with fellow music mogul Sean Diddy Combs at a VMA after-party in 2000. Jay-Z, who has vehemently denied all the allegations, walked the red carpet at the premiere of Mufasa alongside his wife Beyonce and daughter Blue Ivy.
I'm the new Sinatra, and since I made it here, I can make it anywhere.
Known for his empire state of mind, the rap titan's mindset now seems to be on dismissing that lawsuit. In his counterfiling, Jay-Z demands the woman reveal herself and calls the claims a cynical and calculated campaign to force payment of an exorbitant sum of money.
We doing big camping, we spending cheese. Check them out now.
In 2000, Jay-Z was nominated for Best Rap Video. He and Combs both attended the award show. The newly amended civil lawsuit, originally filed in October against Combs, for the first time identifies celebrity A as Jay-Z, claiming the two drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party, and that another celebrity stood by and watched as Combs and Carter took turns assaulting the minor. Combs has also denied all allegations. Jay-Z and Beyonce married in 2008 and went on to have 3 children.
I can't imagine her heartbreak and for herself, for her children, for both sides of their family. The struggles that they've overcome as a couple have been profound and have inspired many other couples all around the world. And so this is a moment, it's a test.
The lawsuit was filed by Texas-based attorney Tony Busby, to whom Jay-Z took direct aim at his statement, writing, "I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children." Busby fired back in a statement saying, "Despite a coordinated and aggressive effort, I won't be bullied or intimidated. People will see through this effort to discredit me and my clients, and the truth will be revealed."
While Jay-Z has challenged the accuser's lawyer to change the civil lawsuit to a criminal complaint, that's actually not possible. In the state of New York, the statute of limitations on rape is 20 years. And again, keep in mind, this allegedly happened 24 years ago.
That's right.
All right. So that's a report from Good Morning America. And that's the thing. I want to put up Jay-Z's response in a second. Don't put it up yet. But let me just tell you, because, that's something that Lindsay mentioned that I think is very important to point out. Because in his response, he's being very specific and very aggressive. And usually celebrities don't do that. I want to know what you guys think about it. And tell me again, sorry, I started off. I came in hot. I wanted to get to you on time because we had technical difficulties, whatever, the couple days ago. And I wanted to make sure that I got to you guys on time. So let's see. Let's hang on one second. I'm getting something here that I want to make sure. Let's see. Nikki, if you're there, I'm going to forward you something that I want to see if you can get in touch with this person. Okay. Now let's shoot a screen grab of it. Because someone involved in the story, and someone who has knowledge of the story, is reaching out to me right now. And I want to make sure that we can get her on to discuss in the moment. So anyways, I'm texting it now. There you go. You have it. So, all right, now back to the program. Jay-Z is being very aggressive in his response. And usually that doesn't happen. Usually celebrities will say, hey, I don't want to talk about it. We're going to respond in court. That's the usual thing. I think this one is very interesting to me because I think for Jay-Z to come in hot like this, I think it speaks to perhaps his innocence. I know someone said he's guilty. We don't know yet. Nicole Kendra, I'm with you. I am with you. TK, I disagree with you. TK says his statement makes him look guilty. No, I don't think his statement makes him look guilty. I think I heard from a friend last night who said the same thing. I think his statement does exactly the opposite, because even if the statute of limitations are up and 20 years, look, states have been known, municipalities or districts have been known to extend those. Remember, that's what happened. That's how this whole Diddy thing started. They opened it up, and a whole lot of people were caught up in these allegations of SA, where they extended the statute of limitations. So, I know that folks like to, put forth allegations, and for some reason, I don't know. Look, I'm not part of the rap world. I don't know that much about it, but they like to hate on Jay-Z. Who knows what happened? Jay-Z is innocent. Jay-Z, if innocent, should be aggressive. I'm sure Beyonce is getting to the bottom of it, says James Brem. Again, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to this. I know you guys some folks aggressively feel one way and some folks aggressively feel another. His statement doesn't mean he's innocent. No, I didn't say his statement means he's innocent, Susie Q. But if for someone to put out an aggressive statement like that, also Jay-Z filed a suit against the attorney. I don't know, because with these things, you can pay. There are lawsuits, they call them nuisance lawsuits, where wealthy people will just pay it to get it out of the way because they don't want to be involved in litigation, or because they don't want their names dragged through the mud. Even if innocent, they will just pay it. Carol L says, I like to wait until the facts are spoken. I don't like to assume, especially when the allegations are so serious. I agree. I don't like to assume, especially when the allegations are so serious. Carol, you're right. And for everyone, you guys don't know. Look, nobody knows. But I will say that this is an aggressive statement. I was going to read you more about the lawsuit. Let me read you a little bit more, and then we'll talk about the statement, because the statement is really aggressive. Okay, so step back, and I want to give you some context here. This anonymous woman, Lindsay talked about it, but I just want to go a little bit deeper than what Lindsay did. There's an anonymous woman who originally sued Diddy. This is in October, and alleged that he and then an unnamed celebrity assaulted her. On Sunday, an amended lawsuit revealed that previously unidentified celebrity was allegedly Jay-Z. That is the previously supposed unidentified celebrity. Now, there is also another celebrity who is yet unnamed. I believe it was a woman that apparently folks believe, they're saying that it could be like Mary J. Blige or whatever. But then again, who knows? I don't know. No one knows. Okay. And so, goodness gracious. Stand by 1 second. Getting notes from my producers here. Okay, great. So we'll have someone in a minute, and we're going to talk to him about that, just to make sure. Hey, Siri, turn on Do Not Disturb so that someone doesn't call and mess us up during the thing. Okay, so our Do Not Disturb is on. So that unnamed celebrity, there's allegedly another celebrity that is yet to be unnamed. This anonymous woman, or Jane Doe, says that she attended an after party following MTV Video Music Awards. This is back in 2000, where she went into a bedroom to lie down after allegedly being drugged. Jay-Z is accused of holding the woman down and essaying her while Combs and a still unnamed female celebrity watched. According to her amended suit, quote, Combs has been allowed for years to conduct himself in a manner without any consequences, the lawsuit stated. He believes he is above the law. He is not. His close friend, Sean Carter, has been with Combs during many such instances. Both perpetrators must face justice. Now, again, I know what some folks are saying, and they don't believe this and they don't believe that, or they believe this and they believe that. For some reason, this does not, look, you don't know, this does not ring true to me. There are a lot of holes here in this particular case, and I just don't know if it is real. And none of us knows if it is real. But I will tell you, just from my very minor interactions with Jay-Z, it doesn't appear that he has the kind of personality that would do this. Again, I wasn't there. Who knows? And we know he has a past, right? Before he got into the industry. Who knows? But again, for some reason, this one is not passing the smell test to me. You guys can disagree with me. It's not. JD doesn't seem the type, says liminal. But here's the thing. As someone who is a survivor, you never know. People don't have an S, an A for assaulter, or an R for, that word, or an A for abuser. People don't have that written on their forehead. So you never know. And usually it's the person that's closest to you. Did Bill Cosby have that personality? Says Rob Champ. No. And that was, Bill Cosby was a different sort of thing. These were adult women and drugging and all of that stuff. That was kind of a different thing. And remember, guys, let's just remember, so that we can stay on the air and we are not sued by anyone. Bill Cosby's case was thrown out. Bill Cosby got out of jail. Bill Cosby, in the end, to many people's chagrin and dismay from alleged victims, they weren't happy. Bill Cosby ended up getting out of jail, got very little fanfare and very little press. So I always like to be careful with these things, because where does one go to get their reputations back if they are indeed found not guilty or innocent, or if it is thrown out? And there are folks who believe that this one might be, because there are the anti-SLAPP laws. It is 24 years old, this case, 24 years old. And there are attorneys and legal people who believe there is not enough information, not enough facts, not enough evidence for this to move forward. But you never know what the court is going to say. And you never know how if the court will allow this to proceed. Oh, wow, I can see much better in these glasses. Thank you very much. Okay, so here's the deal. This is Jay-Z's response, and we'll put it up, okay? Because I think that this is a very, very, very strong and aggressive response. My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. That does happen with celebrities. People think the public scrutiny, just the fact that the allegations will come out, will be enough to make a celebrity want to settle these cases, and that they will get money, and that it's a money grab, basically. We will accuse someone, they will be afraid, and then what happens? They're going to settle. That is what Pete Hegseth is saying happened to him. Someone accused him unfairly. He says it was consensual. He was worried about his job at Fox News. If the allegations came to light, guess what? They would fire him. So he paid her. Okay? That does happen to a lot of celebrities, a lot of rich people, a lot of very wealthy people. People will sue them, not just for these types of allegations, but for a number of things. And their lawyers and their representatives will tell them, look, this is going to get dragged through the courts. They're doing this on contingency. Just pay them and get it out of the way, and you can deal with other stuff. And then others will say, you know what? I'm not doing it. I'm not guilty. I'm not giving this person any money. Okay? That's what happens in a lot of these cases. So it says, I'm going to read that sentence again. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, says Jay-Z. It had the opposite effect with an exclamation point. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very, all caps, public fashion. So no, I will not give you, in all caps again, one red penny, 2 exclamation points. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Wow. This from Facebook, this one from the book. Lorraine Whalen Washington says, yeah, he's trying to protect his reputation. He is trying to protect his reputation. But again, I always say innocent until proven guilty. I don't know if this is true or not, but I tell you, for me, just for me, it doesn't pass the smell test. Okay. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? That's a strong statement. Again, you guys know, usually celebrities don't do this. These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case, says Jay-Z. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby, but I promise you that I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity, says Jay-Z. This is personal. I have never honestly seen a response like this from a celebrity. I really haven't. Especially someone of Jay-Z's caliber and fame. Wow. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. Wow. Again, I want to believe him, but IDK says Jenny H. Okay. CJ Brooks, Facts and Receipts says, he knows that this hurts his reputation regardless of the outcome. That, CJ Brooks, is absolutely 150% true. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. Okay. I believe we had Tony Busby booked to talk about Diddy, and then he had to go to court. I believe that's so. Nikki, do you remember that? That was a while back when the Diddy charges came out. We had him booked, and then he had to cancel or reschedule, right?
Yeah, that was a while back.
Yeah, so we're going to reach out to him again and try to get him back to see if we can get him back. But that does happen where people, again, that's why folks are say, Me Too far, that people are using the Me Too movement just as a money grab, and that it was watering down the Me Too movement because people were using it just to get money. And that is what Jay-Z is saying in that last statement. My heart and support goes out to the true victims in the world who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. That is direct to Tony Busby. The FB, Al Zain Al Hussein says, it is not a good strategy or good defense to attack the lawyer who brings a case against you. Okay, maybe not. What do you guys think about that? Explain to me, please, Al. I want to know. And if you are even on TikTok, I'm going to, as well, talk to you guys and what you think. Who do you know is a true victim? Yeah. So I feel Jay-Z stood up quick fighting, says Nina Simone on the YT. Yeah. We have made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I am not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. Ooh. Pamela Eckert says his PR team is at work. We have very strict codes of honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me, that if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids would be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. And Jay-Z is not playing around. Jay-Z is in crisis mode, says Virginia Thomas. He's in some kind of mode. I'm just telling you, these are very serious allegations. The attorney says, quote, Jay-Z's attorney writing this, Mr. Carter should not have to defend himself in the brightest of spotlights against an accuser who hides in complete darkness while leveling allegations that describe the purported acts occurring in plain sight of witnesses who could refute the plaintiff's claims if only her identity was revealed, the filing said. So Jay-Z is asking, because this is a Jane Doe, JD is asking that these claims, that the person be revealed so he knows who he is fighting against. I don't disagree with that. I know some people do, but how as an attorney, how are people to know what they're fighting against and how to defend themselves? And actually who it is. If you're out there making a claim, well, who are you? Do I even know you? And look, I know that as a survivor of SA, I will tell you that people are like, people's privacy needs to be protected and all that. But I believe you must know, in order to defend yourself, you have to know who and what you're fighting against. So I think it's only fair. I really do. If you're going to make these kinds of claims, I believe that you should reveal yourself, especially something that is 24 years old. I agree, reveal yourself. It's only fair, says Tracy Galloway on FB. I agree, show your card, says T Signs. Yes. How is he to know? The attorney goes on to say Mr. Carter deserves to know the identity of the person who is effectively accusing him in sensationalized publicity hunting fashion of criminal conduct, demanding massive financial compensation and tarnishing a reputation earned over decades. He says the music mogul's motion alleged the report says alleged that the allegation is part of a campaign of extortion carried out by Tony Busby, the attorney who filed Jane Doe's complaint. This extortionate campaign attempted to force the rapper to pay an exorbitant amount of money, he alleged. Makes no sense. This case is about retaliating, against a rare target who would not pay. Against a rare target who would not pay. Fox News also reporting on this. Let's hear what they have to say for a minute.
And music mogul Jay-Z is now being accused of raping a 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs during an MTV VMA after party in the year 2000. The rapper issued a blistering statement in response and directed his comments at attorney Tony Busby, who filed the suit, saying, quote, "You've made a terrible error in judgment thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the project of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. I look forward to showing you just how different I am." Criminal defense attorney Lexi Rigdon joins me now. Lexi, good morning to you. What a development here. So another thing Jay-Z said in his statement is that this was a civil suit filed against him. And he said these allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one, essentially saying, if I really did these things, treat me the way I should be treated. So how should we be thinking about all of this? What do you think?
Well, that's some denial from him. And, you know, sometimes celebrities have pretty muted denials, like, you know, I'm not going to comment now, or I direct all questions to my lawyers. I actually admire the strength of the denial. You know, I think that there is no, at this point, there's no objective indicia of reliability to this complaint. Now, obviously, things are.
Did you hear what she said? She says, I admire. Just back it up a little bit. This is an attorney, and I have to agree. I agree. And this is, look, this is this Lexi, criminal defense attorney, Lexi Rigdon. We're going to also get someone on who's going to talk to us about this. I agree. I admire this, because usually celebrities hide behind the same thing. And we often talk about it. Even Tim and I often talk about it, because we know every time there's a scandal in the media or something, because I've been doing it for so long. And a bunch of my friends are media professionals, and all of the all of the responses kind of sound the same. And celebrities are afraid to touch it because it just adds fuel to the fire. Jay-Z responding to this just gave it oxygen, whoop, to a big fire. And I'm telling you guys, for someone to respond for something like this, it does say a lot. Here, let's continue on with this Lexi Rigdon.
Strength of the denial. You know, I think that there is no, at this point, there's no objective indicia of reliability to this complaint. Now, obviously, things are going to play out and we're going to end up learning more. But if you look at it on its face, it's a 24-year-old complaint. Very significantly, he was not named in the lawsuit in the first instance when it was filed. The girl was allegedly 13 at the time it happened. And in the complaint, it says that she had been given something and she was, quote unquote, woozy. And so I think that this just needs to be looked at in kind of a measured way. Unlike the media is treating some people in the media, you know, Pete Hegseth being one of them, where they automatically hear an allegation and they run with it. I think that this needs to be treated in a measured type of way. We don't need knee-jerk societal reactions. Anybody can make allegations against somebody, and people who are rich and famous are particularly targets. And so obviously I don't know what happened, but I think it just needs to play out, and you know, we need to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point.
Well, that's what Tony Busby is saying.
Okay, so pause there, please. And now, by the way, again, someone just texted me, said I was talking to the TikTok folks over the Fox News. So I hope you guys heard. Did you hear? If you didn't hear, let me know in the comments. If you couldn't hear what I was saying, or you couldn't hear the Fox News report because I was talking too much, let me know. Because I was trying to talk to the folks on TikTok, so I'm going to see if I can talk to them a little bit later on. But she's saying that there's no objective standard or objective for reliability here. So, you know, she is a criminal defense attorney. So we shall see. You know, again, we're going to have someone on in just a moment who can talk to us about this, an attorney who has been following this. Thank you, Don, for keeping us informed on all the aspects of the news and for your transparency. That is Karen White. Karen, thank you for your very generous support. Basically, Karen just was so generous in just like 1 month's highest elimination, right? Is that our highest thing? And just donated and supported independent media. So thank you so much. Jay-Z responds the way because he thinks he's untouchable. Says Marquita Bookings. I'm not sure if he thinks that in this moment. Hegseth also has a right to defend himself in the Senate hearings in public. That is true, Maria Maniscalco. Absolutely. Hegseth also has a right to defend himself. Yes, he does. And I've compared it to that. And those things, it does happen where people will pay a nuisance value to a lawsuit to have it go away. Thank you, Rates Wait THX7. Thank you for your support. Let's see what you say. Michael Jackson told his lawyers that the biggest mistake he made was paying his accusers off. So I think Jay-Z was right in putting out that statement. Wow. Interesting. I don't know where public sentiment is going on that. I have someone, and I know she's watching now, who thinks like, man, wasn't smart. You should let your attorneys do the responding. Jay-Z shouldn't be responding. I don't know. This one is quite different, I feel, this time. And we'll see where this goes. Okay, let's continue on with the Fox News report.
And, you know, we need to give him the benefit of the doubt at this point.
Well, that's what Tony Busby is saying. And so this federal lawsuit was originally filed in October. So interesting that we're only learning about this now. And then Tony Busby responded to Jay-Z's statement by writing this on X. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, meaning the defendant, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff We will let the filing speak for itself and will litigate the facts in court, not in the media. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York declined to comment on whether the office is pursuing this case. So what happens next?
Well, who knows what's going to happen with that? I mean, we don't know if the feds are going to be looking into this. They may well be at this point. I think that there are people further looking into Diddy. I think there might be a superseding indictment coming and probably looking into the people that he's associated with himself. But this also may well be beyond the statute of limitations. So it really just depends. I mean, as it stands right now, I can't imagine that there's enough evidence to necessarily bring something, because somebody's accuser saying something happened 24 years ago without more evidence is probably not going to be enough. But then again, we don't know what evidence she has. So it really remains to be seen if this is actually going to be passed on to the criminal authorities or if they're working on it at this point.
There you go. Okay, so that is the Fox News report there, and I think it is pretty interesting. And she's saying something very similar. Again, we don't know. I'm just saying, you guys remember Brett Kavanaugh and the whole thing that was when he was in college in the 80s? Brett Kavanaugh is now a Supreme Court justice. Folks were saying the defense was this was 30, 40 years ago when someone was in college. How are they supposed to even recall? Blah, 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 right? And then he ended up and a lot of folks, even women, senators in Washington, D.C., still approved of him going on to the Supreme Court because they believe that someone's memory and something that happened so long ago was not reliable.
John, we have Megan here with us.
Let's go. The attorney who has been following this, and I've been watching her reports all over. I'm so happy that you're joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us. So this is Megan Cuniff. Megan, are you a criminal defense attorney?
I'm actually a journalist, a lifelong journalist. I come from a family of lawyers. I've been around a lot of lawyers, but I don't have a law degree.
So I've been watching you, and you've been doing great stuff all over, just about on every network. So as you're watching this, do you disagree? Did you see the Fox report that I just had up? And they said these were 24-year-old allegations. Even though Jay-Z is vigorously defending himself, Tony Busby, the same thing. What do you make of these allegations, and what has your reporting been showing you?
It seems like we've got a lot to go in that Jay-Z is denying these allegations outright, and the allegations are there in print in a lawsuit that is going to need to be dealt with. So I think the first issue that the judge is going to deal with is whether the plaintiff can proceed anonymously. But I think we've got a ways to go with this lawsuit. I mean, the idea that it's just going to be dismissed outright, I think there's a process for that we're going to have to go through, but we're definitely in the early stages here.
So you don't think it'll be dismissed outright? Do you believe from your reporting that there is enough evidence that this will possibly go through?
I don't know. I have not seen any evidence. The way it's pled, the way the complaint reads, they've got witnesses in there, like a unknown celebrity, celebrity B, who they must obviously know who it is. So it seems like she would be a great witness on either side. And then it also says that the girl was picked up by her dad later on in the morning around dawn. So it seems like there are some witnesses in the complaint there that we can see, but we have not heard any statements from them. We have not seen any evidence one way or the other, because it's just a complaint that's been filed. So there's just still so much to know.
So look, apparently, explain to us the reporting here. I'll let you listen. Let's let you listen a little bit to, we'll listen to TMZ, and then you and I will talk about it, because they sort of explain this happened after the VMAs, right? Back in 2000, allegedly, this happened. This is TMZ, they're reporting, and then we'll get back to Megan. Stand by, here it is.
TMZ is staying on the offensive, going after not only the attorney who filed the rape lawsuit against him and Diddy, that would be Tony Busby, the attorney, but also the accuser. And he has filed a new motion this morning, which we're going to get to in a moment, but basically he wants to level the playing field with the accuser. But first, we got to start with this response that Jay-Z had to the allegation. Catch you up real quick if you hadn't heard, but a woman who had filed a lawsuit against Diddy back in October alleging that he had raped her at a VMA after party in the year 2000 when she was only 13 years old.
Right. Remember, this is when she allegedly was given a drink. She felt woozy, and there was Diddy, and there was a male celebrity who was unnamed at the time, and also a female celebrity.
Well, that unnamed celebrity is now named. She refiled the lawsuit on Sunday. She and her attorney, Tony Busby, refiled it and named Jay-Z as that unnamed celebrity involved in the rape. Jay-Z's response is extraordinary in that, look, we've seen all these lawsuits against Diddy, dozens of them now at this point, and frequently his response has been to deny it, but to say nothing else. Jay-Z went way more than just denying it. He did do that, but then went directly after the attorney. Part of his statement said, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt from a lawyer named Tony Busby. It made me want to expose you, Tony Busby, for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny."
Pause, please, right there.
This lawyer.
Megan, have you ever, in your reporting, this is a pretty strong statement from a celebrity. Usually it's pretty muted. It's just like, we're going to fight this in court, and we are no response. This did not happen. We did, categorically deny the allegations. What do you make of how Jay-Z is responding?
I think he's taking such an aggressive stance here because he knows that in a case like this, you can either settle quietly or you can fight loudly, and there isn't really any in between. And I think we're definitely in an era of our society where things are changing, and the norms that we're kind of used to in this stuff are, you need to release a measured statement and not say too much. I mean, we just reelected Donald Trump, and I think that's kind of questioned some norms in this country, and that people are thinking differently about things, and people want things to be a little bit more real and raw. And maybe this fits into that well.
Megan, this is why I wanted you to come on, because I like how you're reporting this, and you are putting this in context of where we are in the zeitgeist in society right now. Donald Trump has pushed and broken a lot of norms, right? And so I think right now people are thinking differently about this thing, especially when you consider the person who is the president-elect of the United States was found liable for SA, and has to pay not only found liable, but also has to pay for defamation, millions upon millions of dollars. We're at a different point now, and you believe that Jay-Z and his attorneys and his representatives, they know this? And that's why
I think they understand that, the reality era of society has been in place for so long, and that they need to be real in their responses here and really take the bull by the horns and be aggressive. And that seems to be what they're doing. And we've seen that in the filings too. It's interesting that this is the only statement we've seen from Jay-Z, and it came Sunday night. And now he seems to be letting his lawyer do the talking through the filings.
Let's continue on a little bit, and then we'll get back with Megan here.
Who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. There were other shots at Tony Busby in his statement where he called him an ambulance chaser in a cheap suit.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, and if you've heard Tony Busby's name before, it's because seems to always find his way. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but he seems to always find his way into the big case, Charles, right? I mean, if it's Travis Scott, if it's Deshaun Watson, the NFL quarterback, he's always involved.
So Jay-Z had that strong response. Yeah. Tony Busby isn't backing down, and in fact said that he denied that there was any extortion. He said, my client merely reached out and wanted to have a confidential mediation. Right. Now, I got to say, I don't know what that confidential mediation would be about other than money. Right. But his point is the letter itself did not make any request for money.
Right. Though I'm sure that was coming.
Let's pause. Yeah, it sounds like. So here's the thing. Tell me about Tony Busby, because they reeled off a list of celebrities there, Megan, of who Tony Busby has helped, who were his clients. And I'm just wondering about his reputation. Basically, Jay-Z is saying that he believes that Tony Busby, just flat out calling him an ambulance chaser.
I mean, he does have a reputation for being involved in a lot of different cases, and trouble seems to follow him wherever he goes. He's had different lawsuits, different accusations from clients, from whatnot. But I also think that, I don't want to say it's uncommon, but unfortunately in this day and age of the Saul Goodman, we have a lot of lawyers who have a lot of baggage. And I mean, I think
by that Saul Goodman, what are you talking? Explain.
The Breaking Bad lawyer that I remember when I used to interview a lot of lawyers, people always said that people would always cite Matlock or Perry Mason as the show that inspired them to be a lawyer. And I'm wondering if we're kind of entering the era of in a few years, are we going to be seeing people citing Saul Goodman as the reason in Breaking Bad is what inspired them to go be a lawyer? Tony Busby is of a different generation than that, and I think he's been a licensed lawyer since like 1997. But lawyers, plaintiffs lawyers, personal injury attorneys, people who take on big celebrity cases, they sometimes come with a lot of baggage like this, and it doesn't necessarily mean that their clients don't have cases. I mean, what we saw with Michael Avenatti was that his clients were victimized, and that the cases that he took on weren't necessarily trumped up cases. It was what he was doing with the end result that was the problem. So a lot of the times the clients are just kind of victims in this whole thing. And it doesn't mean that they don't necessarily have a case or that their case is fabricated. And I think that's what everyone is waiting to see here. How do the allegations, the baggage that Tony Busby comes, how does that relate directly to his lawsuit? And if, there's rumblings that this girl doesn't actually exist, or she'd be a woman now, but I think everyone is waiting to see what actually happens with the allegations so they can see if there is a connection between these allegations being trumped up and Tony Busby's reputation. But right now there isn't just a solid connection.
What do you mean there are rumblings that she doesn't actually exist?
Well, I mean, just the internet, as in just completely rumors that are just baseless. I mean, it's just people under handles on Twitter saying, oh, I bet she doesn't even exist. And it's like, right now, there's no reason to think that one way or the other. It seems like we're just trying to, we're just in the beginning stages here, and there's a lot more to come. But the way the lawsuit reads, I mean, he's written witnesses in there that could have some pretty powerful things to say. So I think there's a lot to come here.
A couple of things here. Folks are responding to your Saul, saying better call Saul, and that's pretty interesting. Do the celebrity B, right? Would that be the woman celebrity who was there? Or there's supposedly another celebrity. Folks have some idea. They're saying, since you're mentioning social media, who they believe that woman celebrity is.
I have not. I mean, I've seen names here and there, but I have not seen one way or the other any kind of definitive statement. And she hasn't come out and identified herself. And I think there's a lot of speculation on that. But that just seems to me that, I mean, obviously she would be a key witness in this whole thing, one way or the other. If it did happen, if it didn't happen, she should be able to give some insight into this.
Yeah. So Jay-Z, Beyonce, Tina Knowles, Blue Ivy, the entire family on the red carpet, and I believe we have an Inside Edition report, and which is a very rare occurrence. Let's watch.
United and defiant. Jay-Z, Beyonce, their daughter Blue Ivy, and Beyonce's mother Tina Knowles are sending a clear message that they're standing by the music mogul in the wake of shocking rape allegations leveled against him and P. Diddy. The power couple and 12-year-old Blue Ivy surprised everyone by unexpectedly showing up at the red carpet premiere of the Lion King prequel, Mufasa.
Rafiki, keep going.
Blue Ivy is the voice of the character Kiara. She looked all grown up at the sight of her parents wearing a billowy gold-colored gown. The family did not talk to reporters last night, but Jay-Z issued a scathing denial to accusations he raped a 13-year-old in the year 2000 at an after-party following the MTV VMAs. He's calling it an attempt at blackmail. Tina Knowles' appearance comes after she seemed to like an article detailing the accusations against her son-in-law. But Tina posted, "I was hacked. As you know, I do not play about my family. So if you see something uncharacteristic of me, just know that it is not me."
Okay, should we read anything into that? Because they don't often do red carpets. And as you know, Megan, the photographs, the publicity, anything public around Beyonce is carefully manicured and curated even her own photographs of her at celebrity events. She sends them out herself. The fact that this family is doing this, you think they're sending out a statement this was deliberate?
Yeah, I think it was deliberate, but then I also think it was the parents showing a united front for their daughter. I mean, it was so obviously that this was her big moment, her big movie, her big premiere. They didn't want to have it overshadowed by the news. I mean, it seems like kind of a crappy situation for the family. I mean, I feel bad for the daughter having to have this go on during her big moment. And it seemed like the parents were trying to make it about her, but of course this is hanging over everything. So of course the headlines bring it up, but it seems like it was more about trying to make it about her.
Megan, what is the next step here?
The next step is I would expect to hear from the judge in his civil case, because Jay-Z has requested an expedited hearing on this, a motion that he filed asking to identify the plaintiff. So we could hear something in the next couple of days. I don't know if we're going to get a decision on that, but there could be some kind of hearing scheduled or something like that.
What are the chances that happens? Does that happen very often in these cases? Because they are usually the courts are pretty adamant about, not revealing the identity of some of these alleged victims.
Overall, the case law favors identification. It's just a matter of 20 lawsuits that Diddy has not been fighting. He doesn't have lawyers appearing in these cases. So when Tony has done a motion to proceed anonymously, there hasn't been any opposition. So he's been approved on that, but it's under preliminary terms where the judges have said either it's preliminary in light of another briefing schedule, or they've said we could revisit this later on. There was one judge who just outright said no and said the plaintiff needs to identify herself. So that's happened. And then in another case that's actually not a Tony Busby lawsuit, but that was filed last year, that Diddy actually had some pretty solid representation in for a while until he was arrested. They were going for the identification of the plaintiff, and the judge agreed. And that just happened in the last couple weeks. They filed a new complaint that identifies her. So overall, the case law does favor identification. It's just a matter of when, and then you actually have to litigate it, because like I said, all these other lawsuits that Busby has filed against Diddy, there hasn't been any defense counsel saying, no, actually we don't want the plaintiff to proceed anonymously. You need to identify her. So the judges have all just kind of gone along with Tony Busby, except for this one. But now that there's an actual defense counsel in this case, it's going to be a different story.
Do you have any update? This is Tony Busby, and isn't there Mark Agnifilo? Isn't that another attorney that is for?
I have not heard that name, but he does have a local counsel in New York City who's filing suits with him, and then he also had a lawyer in San Diego on the Jay-Z case. But he definitely has some other counsel helping him.
Do you have an update for us on the Diddy case? Because Diddy is sitting in jail, has been denied bail a number of times.
Yes, he's due in court in a week. There is a status conference on December 18th. And right now his lawyers have a pretty big motion in regarding the search of his jail cells, because they're obviously really trying to be aggressive about anything that comes up. So the notes that were seized from his jail cell a couple weeks ago have really caused a big stir in the case. And right now the judge is sorting through them, trying to decide if they're covered by attorney-client privilege. So of course, any defense attorney would see a lot of opportunity and a lot of room in that, and they have filed a motion asking for an evidentiary hearing and ultimately they're hoping it leads to the dismissal of the indictment, saying that his rights are being violated and he's being spied on in jail, and they're infringing on his attorney-client privilege communications. And so that's all to be coming here.
So a status hearing for Diddy, and then awaiting the judge's response or ruling on whether they will reveal this Jane Doe in the Jay-Z case, correct?
Exactly.
Wow, Megan, you're great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for updating us. And please come back. And if you get anything, let me know. All right. Again.
Absolutely, I will. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Megan Cuniff, a reporter who has been following this and following the Diddy cases and many cases that are like this, and her reporting has really been extraordinary. And we appreciate her coming on. So
thanks so much.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Okay, so listen, that is the latest. What do you guys think? We got more information than I thought that we would get in all of this. There are some other things that I want to talk to you about before we get out of here. 50 Cent, or Fiddy, has gotten in on the action. Fiddy is mocking Jay-Z and the red carpet appearance. Here he is.
I'm asking for Kendrick.
50 Cent explains his choice to mock Jay-Z amid assault allegations against the rapper and Sean Diddy Combs. The 49-year-old is explaining why he chose to take to X, formerly Twitter, to troll Jay-Z amid rape allegations that were filed in a December 8th lawsuit. After news of the claims broke, 50 Cent posted on the platform questioning the status of the Super Bowl halftime show, which Jay-Z's Rock Nation curates with the NFL. Then in an interview on December 9th, the rapper explains what was behind his joke.
For a friend. Yeah, I'm asking for Kendrick. You know, I'm just trying to figure out if we're still doing everything the way. Because look, they will fall back. They like the NFL. They won't necessarily be associated to that.
Right.
The rapper didn't stop there, though. On December 9th, after Jay-Z attended the Mufasa premiere with his wife Beyonce and their daughter Blue Ivy, 50 posted on Instagram in a since-deleted message poking fun at Jay-Z for attending amid the legal drama. Jay spoke out after he was accused by a woman in a civil lawsuit of raping her when she was 13, along with Combs. Per NBC News, the accuser, identified anonymously as Jane Doe, refiled a sexual assault civil lawsuit she had originally filed against Diddy in October, adding in Jay-Z's name as an additional defense.
The lawsuit that we have heard. But again, that's 50 Cent. 50 Cent mocking him. Brings up a very good point, though, in that report. And so did one of our members here on the channel. Said, what does this mean for the NFL deal, right? Remember, Rock Nation produces the halftime show, and that's Kendrick Lamar for the upcoming Super Bowl. Now, there is some concern, I believe, from the NFL and from others. So we'll see if that continues. But remember, these are just allegations. And so I believe one reason that he is fighting so hard, he's fighting for his reputation, but also his business is on the line. Producing the halftime show is a huge, huge deal, reputationally, monetarily, and for a number of different reasons. So that is one reason I believe that there is such an aggressive stance, an aggressive response here. And I do love what Megan Conniff brought up, the point that she made. She's putting this in the context of what's happening in the world, especially politically. Look at the caliber of person, the accusations, and the facts as it relates to the person who is going to be the next president, the former president of the United States and the next president. And these sorts of allegations don't seem to matter. These sorts of even just allegations, even after it's been adjudicated, which Donald Trump's was in a court of law, found liable for SA, where the judge later clarified and said that it was akin to the R word. So there you go. This one thing, because people still talk about Jay-Z and bring him up, and they may not, realize the moment. This happened with Charles Barkley and Shaq on their show as they were on the air. This is a funny moment that I think everybody should see. Watch this.
We kind of pitched that idea about Stephen A. against one of you guys.
In fairness, he can't be worse than that first pitch he threw out.
Yeah,
nothing can be that bad.
Come on, you really want? Come on, stop it. Man. He'll give you a chance and a free throw.
Stop it. You said the man was not even on your level. That's an insult. Stephen A. played college basketball.
So did a lot of people in the world, but he's not in my, no, they're not on.
In fact, you said you were a heavyweight and he was what?
It's like you said you were a heavyweight and he was a flyweight. Yeah, he's a flyweight. I'm not you got to work your way up to the champ.
You from New York. That man challenged you on live TV.
Listen, man.
That man said he'll give you a chance.
You think Jay-Z or
probably not a good time right now.
You're silly, man. You're silly. You're wrong. You're silly, man. You're silly, man.
Go see if you can fix the wall, will you, Shaq?
The wall, man.
Yeah. Here, Pat, here.
Fix the wall,
I'll go
man.
see if I can fix the wall.
My point was,
too soon, Kenny.
My point was, you think Kendrick Lamar, how about that?
There you go.
You think Kendrick Lamar is going battle rapping with people on the street?
Oh, my God.
Can't do that.
All right.
I can't do that.
Anyway, Shaq was...
That was funny. It's probably not a good time. That's why that show is so successful, because they're allowed to be who they are. By the way, they were talking about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith. That is funny, right, Monica? Stephen A. Smith has come out fighting hard pushing back on these allegations, saying there is no way that this is true. He does not believe a word of it. Not believe a word. Do you guys want to hear it? Do you guys want to hear what Stephen A. has to say? Let's see what you guys say in the comments. Let's see whether we play it or not. Because again, he's really coming in strong in Jay-Z's corner. Some people say no. Hate cases, no. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Nope, says Stacey Renee. Let's hear just a little bit of it. Here it is.
Started in the world of music and entertainment, where a new lawsuit this week alleges Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs raped a 13-year-old girl more than 20 years ago after an awards show after party. The suit was filed in New York's Southern District. That's the same jurisdiction currently holding Sean Combs in a federal jail on sex trafficking and racketeering charges until his trial this upcoming spring. As for Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, he's denied the allegations, calling them idiotic to say the least. He went on to say the plaintiff's attorney, named Tony Busby, tried to blackmail him in a demand letter sent before the suit was actually filed. Busby appeared on this show in October, if y'all would recall, and told us about a number of alleged victims that approached his office. Take a listen to Mr. Busby back then.
All right.
That's
not his. If we cue it in, if you can, Andy, to where he starts to respond, because again, he's adamantly defending Jay-Z in this. And if you can cue it in, because that's what I want folks here. But he's saying there's no way. I know his character. I've known him for, I think he said, for decades. And there's nothing in his character that would make me believe anything like this would happen, and that he should adamantly defend himself. I don't know.
In addition to the statement, Jay-Z didn't stop there. On Monday, yesterday, his legal team asked the judge to deny a request for the to remain anonymous. Jay-Z's couple of things.
There we go. There we go.
I don't know Sean Diddy Combs. I've met him on a few occasions. I've spoken to him on a few occasions. I don't know whatever truth or falsehood is associated with his name. I haven't cast any guilt or innocence upon Sean Diddy. I simply reported it. Had Ryan Smith, legal analyst, on 1 minute, Eli Honig, CNN analyst, on another, Ellie Honig, a CNN analyst, on at another occasion, dissecting and analyzing the case against Sean Diddy. The reason why I broached that was because his homes were raided in both Los Angeles and Miami by Homeland Security. News had been percolating, and it was clearly evident that an indictment would be forthcoming, and that clearly they were going to go after Sean Diddy Combs. That is the United States government. Mr. Busby is not that. He is a lawyer. I am not going to sit here and dismiss or excoriate Mr. Busby or his client, who's anonymous at this particular moment in time, in the allegations that she has leveled against Jay-Z. Here's what I will say. I'm broaching this story right now because we're talking about a friend of mine who is Jay-Z, somebody that I've known now for 25 years. And I'm going to state for the record, not calling anybody any names, not challenging Mr. Busby or the accuser, whomever. I'm telling you, I've known this man for 25 years. And I'm saying, for me, Stephen A. Smith, there is no way in hell I believe this about him. The Jay-Z that I know is the Jay-Z that I've seen around teenagers, and he doesn't even want us playing the kind of music we kind of listen to in hip-hop. He made us turn it off. That dude who was in concert in 2004 performing alongside R. Kelly, who he grew to dislike a lot, particularly because of the allegations that were leveled against him, who found things like that despicable and abhorrent. Anybody that's been around Jay-Z and knows him has seen him come to the defense of the most helpless amongst us, which are the children. I can't believe for 1 second that he would ever be associated with an allegation like this.
Okay, that's what Stephen A. has to say. He's adamant about it. In the comments, there is a poll. that I would like you to participate in. A lot of you are. Wow, a lot of people are. Do you believe Jay-Z committed this horrible act? Definitely, probably, probably not, definitely not. Probably not is winning. 34%. Definitely not, 27%. Well, 34, probably not goes between 34 and 35. Definitely not, but about 28%. Probably says 26% or 24% now. Definitely says 12%. So I did say most people say probably not to definitely not. Again, allegations. Folks who know Jay-Z are saying, no way, didn't do it. Even he is saying that. An aggressive response from a celebrity that one usually does not put out there. And he is. His reputation is on the line. His family standing together in unison with the daughter, with Beyonce. A new chapter in this whole Diddy thing. And we'll see where this takes us. I'll see you later on today. Thanks for watching. We are thrilled to have you as one of our watchers. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. And that way you can be notified about all of our new content. There's plenty of it for you. We're live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop more videos at 2 p.m. Eastern and at 5 p.m. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon Nation, of the Lemon community. Members receive access to special community posts, exclusive content, and live shows. So just head right over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.